Let's move on to Sunday's action, and we get to my Chiefs. I only call them my Chiefs because I now need them desperately. That's what's happened to my action. It's come down to me desperately needing the Chiefs. I got them plus 375 to win the conference, plus 800 to win the Super Bowl, and I need them here. Now, Flash made a futures bet on the Texans, and I decided to take a small stake in it. So it's not the end of the world. It is. I need the Chiefs. Let's just get over it. Let's talk about the odds right now. Chiefs open up at -8 at -107 at Pinnacle. They're now -10, but that's at plus 109. They are the only 10 on the board here of the main books that I use. Pinnacle 10 plus 109, 9.5 everywhere else. This total has gone from 49 up to 51. 49 up to 51. Akira saying Chiefs, Niners, Super Bowl. Texans 5-3 on the road. What a tale of two different halves in that football game. They played in week 6. I remember that game very well because I had the Chiefs. And it was 17-3 Chiefs at halftime. And there were some issues then. Mahomes had the ankle injury. He no longer has it. Also, this Chiefs team did lose Juan Thornhill in the regular season finale, and that hurts badly. But the Honey Badger's been a beast all year. This defense has improved mightily as the season went on. And I know they played a lot of weak competition in the last 6 games. But over the last 6 games of the regular season, they allowed just 11.5 points per game. Spagnuolo went with that 4-3 base scheme, and it worked so well because of Thornhill. And God, the Thornhill injury hurts. Can the Texans cover Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? Will the Texans get Will Fuller back? Do the Texans have a chance here, Donnie Rightside?
Texans do have a chance, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull off the victory in this one. They shouldn't have pulled off the victory last week versus the Buffalo Bills. They were getting dominated, and outside of a couple plays that Deshaun Watson showed some splashes, they came back and won that game. Questionable call at the end of the football game, which would have ended on their side. So now, again, we're taking a look, and the theme is here, you get the double-edged sword if you're these divisional opponents that actually won, because now you're playing a team that is better than you and is rested, and you're going on the road at the same time. They're hard to overcome, and that's why you're seeing these elevated lines, 7, 10s, and then we'll get to the other NFC game in just a little bit. But looking overall at this game, just to start it off, the Kansas City Chiefs are a markedly better football team than Houston. Their coach is markedly better than Bill O'Brien. I think last week you got one of those lucky games out of the way for the Houston Texans. A rested and ready team comes into this game scheming and game planning against your defense. I think the only way to go in this game is Houston. Look, Deshaun can make some plays. This is one of those I might even look at where Kansas City and Andy Reid, one of the best scripted teams, and rested and ready. That first 10 to 15 plays are going to be remarkable. I think Kansas City builds a nice lead at the half, but then again, you get that Russell Wilson type guy in the second half that can make some plays and get you back into it. I like the first half here in the Kansas City Chiefs game, Jimmy.
Chiefs first half coming from Donnie Rightside. Whale Capper, Texans, Chiefs. Are you making a move?
Yes, I am. And actually, I hadn't really thought about first half, second half, and how this game state might play out. But Donnie's point is pretty strong and actually makes a ton of sense. I'm going to revisit that after we're done with the show. But my fair price on this for the full game is KC -9. So I saw it open under that, but not a huge edge, and then it blows right by me. It's up to 10 right now. But if you want to play Houston plus 10, the juice is outrageous. So I really can't find anything clear and obvious to look for on the sides here. But in the total, my fair price on this is 48, and it has steamed all the way up to 51. And there's a lot of numbers in there it could land on that I think are reasonable. 30 to 20 gives you 50. 28-21 gets you to 49. A lot of different combinations get you to 48. So I'm pretty happy here looking for under 51 in this game. And I don't really 100% understand the steam. It's pretty clear to me if I'm Bill O'Brien and I'm looking at what worked over the course of this season against the Kansas City defense in terms of how I'm crafting my offense, I'm going with a pretty run-heavy approach. I'm going to take what they'll give me in the running game, 3-4 yards a carry, and I'm going to let Deshaun Watson figure it out on fourth down here. I'm not going to try to beat them down the field. I'm not going to try to hit home runs against this team. I'm going to try to keep Pat Mahomes on the sidelines. That's my best chance of getting a win here. I don't think that Houston is coming into this game looking for a track meet. And so I think that in general, when Houston has the ball, the clock is just going to bleed out. And then on the flip side, we haven't really seen a dynamic offense from the Chiefs in a while. Like, they are for sure taking what what teams are giving them, as opposed to really asking Pat Mahomes to do it all and to hit these quick hitters. And when you think about the matchup with the Texans defense, like, what Pat Mahomes does the best is when he can break the pocket, he can moves out to his right, and in that scenario, he's looking for guys 30, 40 yards down the field, and he's going to deliver a dime. Right? Well, now when he rolls out to his right, he's got to deal with the likes of J.J. Watt going up against a pretty advantageous matchup. This doesn't necessarily set up well for Pat Mahomes to just put up an unbelievable stat line, 350, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think this is much more turns into much more of a chess match here, with Kansas City taking what is given to them. I think they do get the win. I have it coming in right around the number, so maybe we'll say it's something like 27-17. And this total just completely disrespecting what Kansas City has done defensively over the last half of this season. They have been a much improved unit to what we saw them start the season with. And I know that the loss of Thornhill is non-trivial, but going up against a team in the Texans that doesn't really do anything special offensively, I think that Kansas City can really keep them under, keep them down. And then it just turns into avoiding some garbage time points and getting this under home. So under 51 for me. This is probably my favorite look of the week, to be honest.
Under 51. And I apologize for not mentioning the weather. I did put it in the chat, but 35 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour winds. That's what we're expecting on Sunday morning in Kansas City. Could be worse. Patrick Mahomes, pass yards, bet 365, 298.5. Whale Capper, did you go over that?
I'm probably looking under that, to be honest with you. There's just not going to be a home run in this one, as far as I can tell you. I just am not seeing it. And, we saw Pat Mahomes, he had a fine performance in his first ever playoff game against the Colts last year. But in a lot of ways, I feel like this is a very similar game, and I feel like we're in line for a very similar game state. I don't know if while I'm talking, you can come up with how many yards he threw in that game, but off the top of my head, it was like 250, 275. I think he had 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. And overall, they won 31-13. They covered the number. There was never really in doubt for them. But it's still like, I don't see this being this offensive explosion for Kansas City. We haven't seen that from them, really. Over the whole last half of the season. And I know a lot of people will point and say it's because Mahomes was hurt and now he's fine. But to me, I think there is a little bit of a blueprint that is circulating around the league about how you limit Mahomes' ability to really stick a knife in you. And that is contain him, keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with the vanilla throws. Don't let him get your cornerbacks on their heels. And, if I could be entirely wrong about this, Mahomes may just uncork, a couple of beautiful deep balls early in this game, and Houston can be hurt there for sure. Their secondary is not great. They've played better than their reputation. They've played better than their statistical profile. If you look at season average, lately they've been playing up relative to what would be expected. They've gotten some nice contributions from Roby. The guy they traded for from Oakland has played extremely well after thinking that guy was a total bust. And I think they can do a decent job coverage-wise. And if you're Houston, you literally want this to be a grinded out type of game. Keep Mahomes on the sidelines, and we're gonna take our 3 yards, 4 yards every opportunity with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson in the running game, and really kind of turn this into a team with the ball last wins. That's their best opportunity of victory here. So I think there's a lot of incentive for both teams to really kind of lean on their defense and not try to turn this into a track meet.
Wow. Some great stuff also coming in from the chat, although I loved that breakdown there. Whale Capper. RB Friend saying Andy Reid, 17-3 off a bye in the regular season, 5-0 off a bye in the divisional round, 22-3 off a bye. That's a great stat.
Hey, you know what's even better? Andy Reid unders off a bye. Check those numbers out. They'll spin your hat. This is the 7th playoff game in Andy Reid's career where he's coming off of a bye. The previous 6 all went under. The average total in those games was like 46, and he went under on average by 8 points. There's a kind of a misconception about what the bye means for Andy Reid, because he's an offensive guy. People are like, you give him extra time to prepare, he comes up with like the perfect surgical game plan to really hurt you. But in reality, it seems like his defenses play up off the bye for whatever reason. It could be health related. It could be, maybe he's spending some of his time in helping the defense kind of, give them a red team report on this is what the offense is going to do, and they perform up. But whatever the case is, the unders on Andy Reid off of a bye are much more impressive over the course of his career, even than his performance against the spread.
Wow, that's great stats. Donnie Rightside liking Chiefs first half. Whale Capper liking the under 51. Donnie Rightside, what do you think of Whale Capper going under this number that's moved up 2 points since its opener?
No, I actually agree with him here. And also what's kind of interesting is you bring up like the analytical approaches that you saw in the wild card weekend here. This is no longer 4th and 1 from the 50, automatic go for it. I mean, I always joked about, Houston punted from the 36-yard line on like 4th and 4. It's amazing to think that when you see the opening and the fluidity of the offenses during the first 17 weeks total of the regular season, and then you get into the playoffs and nobody cares about going for it anymore. It's punting, it's field position. That's going to take some points off the board. But this game will be dictated by Andy Reid's offense versus Houston's defense. I don't know where this notion comes from that Houston even has a decent defense. I think they're ranked 24th overall, according to ProFootballFocus.com, and absolutely have gotten detonated over the last month here. We're talking about a Buffalo offense that doesn't do much scoring, or going 425 yards of offense in 5 scoring drives. You can't really take too much of that Tennessee game where the backups came in, but the backups gave like 470 yards. Tampa Bay, 106 yards on the ground, 329 in the air. Tennessee, 163 on the ground, 269 in the air. Denver, with a rookie quarterback, threw for over 300 yards. And the New England Patriots that we laugh at threw for over 300 yards and ran for over 145 yards versus that offense. That's all in just the last month. If the Kansas City Chiefs go in the hyperdrive, they can hang 30 very easily on this porous Houston defense. But I don't know if that's going to be the case in the playoffs, because again, these coaches, instead of going for it, are punting here in the playoff.
Moses Saucedo says Andy Reid winning his first Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Jay Peach, whom I love dearly, who's been with me since day one down here, says, Houston fan here, we don't have the strength to dictate how the game goes. O'Brien is a bum, and that will never change. David Stewart says, spot on, Donnie, Texans have been giving up points lately. All right, there you have it. Texans, Chiefs.